So, okay, we are ready to roll. So I'm also on FB Live. So let's start. So like I was asking you all, what did you all discover in February? Did you all like the experience? Because if you don't like what you have experienced in February, March has an opportunity for you to decide on the change. But first, you need to know what you want to change. Because you see, a lot of people, including me last time, is like, I don't believe that I have the ability to think for myself. And I always look out to other people. I was dependent on other people to help me make the right choice. So it's like, I like asking, should I not? Do I not? So it's like, I don't take that responsibility and accountability to make that decision on myself. And I depend on other people to tell me what I should and what I should not. Okay. And this perhaps is the fear of making the wrong decision. Is one of the reasons why you hesitate when faced with a choice. Okay. And also perhaps afraid of failure or consequences, or you may be worried what other people think of you. Okay. Because you see, when you ask someone for an opinion and you ask them should or should not, when they say should, then you say, oh yeah, I feel the same way. And when you do it and you hit into a blockage or obstacle, or somehow you screw up and people start to question you, you would think that you have this excuse to say, yeah, no, I asked so and so say, yeah, I should do it this way. So all these excuses come in, you know. So, and it actually leads us into a sense where we are just not controlling ourselves. We are just not taking control and taking responsibility for our actions and decisions. This is also a sense of avoidance. So if you feel that you're in this state, okay, you can overcome the indecisiveness. The first thing is you need to trust yourself. You need to follow your instinct and prepare your mindset to learn and take on challenges. Because a lot of times we dare not make a decision because a lot of things we don't know how. We don't know how to do it. Okay, but a lot of people that just doesn't know how. You gotta learn, right? So have that belief in yourself, have that faith in yourself that once you make a decision, you will be able to make it happen. Okay? Because you can't have a breakthrough if you are not ready to take the responsibility to overcome your challenges. It's like you can't have pleasure and achievement at the same time when you're not going anywhere. Okay, so my spiritual webinars this year, it's geared towards discovering yourself and also gaining that clarity and confidence. All right. So if this is the first time you are meeting me, I'm Nelly. You can call me Nell, and I'm a life transformation coach. Okay, I've been studying metaphysics under JY Academy since 2012, and I'm also studying from other masters as well, right? So my metaphysics journey started as a self-help. So if you have attended my tips to thrive in period 9 webinar, you would have known my story, okay, the state that I was at a different juncture of my life. And I conduct Bazi and Children classes as well as I do consultations, right? So let's start with a disclaimer. Most terms that I use belongs to my grandmaster, Dr. Joey. So let's look at 2022 generally. So I call this a spiritual growth year, which means we need to see beyond good or bad. There is no good or bad in things. The meaning is just what we give to it. Okay, things are as it is. And if we want things to be good, we need to create that good experience for ourselves. So the parts of the year, we have 2 water tiger there. So I used to call it the tigers are crossing the rapids. So what this means is like the tension is on, and you need to have that courage and clarity to take on the challenge that is presented to you this year, okay? And to do that, we need grace, which means gratitude, resilience, be adaptable, have compassion, and the most important thing is endurance. So we have been talking about spiritual alignment since last year, but what is it actually, and how is it related to spiritual growth? So spiritual alignment, it refers to the alignment of being conscious of your actions, what you do, your thoughts, what are you thinking, and your intention, what do you want to achieve? While spiritual growth refers to your conviction to progress, to have better things in life, and to make ourselves bigger than our situations. So our Bazi chart actually gives us the information on our personality and an indication of our reaction and action. While your achievement destiny chart, it represents your mind, your subconscious. So my 2 days workshops for this year, 2022, on practical tools and application, it focuses on using the multiple Chinese or CM tools, okay, to propel your growth, right? Let's jump on to the Bazi perspective for March. So how many of you have watched Alice in Wonderland, or at least have read the story? So type Alice in the chat if you have. No one? Okay. For a moment, I thought I was so obsolete. So March will actually make you feel like Alice, because it brings the feeling where everything seems to be there, but nothing seems to be working your way. Okay, and it can actually make you feel indecisive, because you will try to figure out how to make things work, and yet you feel unsecure, okay, of taking the step forward, as you worry about the consequences, okay, of the decisions that you make. Okay, so March is a month where you will need to give up something, okay, to have something else. It is a month where we can't have both pleasure and achievement together. So let's look at the Bazi for March. So on the surface, we have the Ding fire countering the Sing metal that's between the day and hour. So this indicates that our action may be going against our goal. So it's a sign of misalignment, where we try to get things done to get things work out in our way, regardless of the cost. Okay, and our action may backfire if we don't have the relevant skills to manipulate or to maneuver the unexpected. So in other words, it's like there is a high possibility where we think that we are going all the way in, and things will just work out for us, and suddenly we are hit with something which we didn't plan for or we didn't expect. Okay, the thing is also being countered by the gray water from the month. So this can bring a bit of confusion, as it may cloud our ability to assess the situation, while Ren water combines with the Ting fire, and this exposes us to social conditioning, where if we're not clear or not conscious of what we are trying to achieve, we may end up following the crowd. Okay, for those of you who are watching me on FB Live, can you help me share my video with your friends, get more people to join? Okay, thank you. So let's get back to the Bazi over here. So we have just done with the external. Now let's look at the internal. So internally, we have the snake and pig clash, and this brings about interference. So we'll need to steer clear from things that does not matter to us. Okay, and with consciousness and clarity and knowing what we want by staying focused, this clash can be mitigated. You know, sometimes where you're just so bothered with, I will call it, maybe you want to call it gossips. Okay, and then you hear about it and you start to get involved. And that actually zaps your energy. It takes all your time away. Okay, and this can lead to our self-sabotaging, because we are just not doing the thing that we should be doing, but yet we are so busy and we don't have the time to do what we need to do. Okay, as we can see, the day and the hour over here, the two pillars are in total fan yin formation. So which means we may be sabotaging ourselves because we are not staying focused. We are not doing the things that we should do, or we are not doing the things that we need to do at this moment of time. Okay. So next we have the snake and tiger, and this forms a harm. So this indicates encountering events of ungratefulness or perhaps selfishness. So we need to be conscious that we are not the one who's being ungrateful to others. So this energy especially impact those with monkey in the chart. So accept that it's okay. Sometimes we need to be selfish for the right reasons. Okay, and we just need to be mindful and conscious that we are not causing harm to others. Because for this year, the entire 2022 year, the spiritual energy is especially strong. So there is also a play out of some karmic struggles. So when I say karmic struggles, it is referring to the law of cause and effect. Yeah, it is not about your past life and whatever. It's just what you do, your actions. Okay, it can backfire at times. Sometimes it may even cause you to regret over some things. Okay, so you just need to be mindful about it. Okay, in other words, it's be aware and be accountable for your actions. It is actually okay. Sometimes things don't work out, so we just need to work on closing the gap and to keep improving ourselves. Okay. Next, okay, before going to next, another one over here, we see the pig and tiger. The pig and tiger forms destruction. It is also a combo. So it indicates a tug of war between being comfortable and our inner core for growth, okay, to be better, right? And we see the pig is attempting to combine with the rabbit and it pulls in the goat, okay, while the tiger attempts to combine with the rabbit as well and it pulls in the dragon. So this attempted combination of, or we call it the hidden combo, it can actually make you feel like there are actually many options out there and every option seems to be beneficial in some ways. So you just got to pick one and make it work for you. So as indicated in the chart, we have the DO from the year that is rooted in the hour. So we know DO. DO means you need to systemize and make things work. Okay, so this is the summary of this month. Make a decision, choose one, and make it work for you. All right. So if indecisiveness is your trait, then this month may make you feel helpless and stuck. And if you start to follow the crowd, it can lead you to lose your self-identity as well. Okay, so this is something which you need to assess. And use this month to assess, make a decision to do something and try and see where it brings you, how it goes. Okay. So my second spiritual path webinar is happening on 9th of April, which is right after the experience of March. Okay, so spirituality is about experience. So when you have experienced such an energy and then you attend my webinar, you will appreciate and understand the content faster and you will get that enlightenment faster. So if you are keen, but you don't know how to sign up, you can message me. And if you are not comfortable with signing up on FB, message me. Okay, I have alternate ways and alternate arrangement. Okay, so sometimes, yeah, we want to make the right decision, but most of the time, we actually need to make the decision right. That means make the decision work for us. Okay. Okay. Before we move on to look at the planetary movements, let's understand what it means by Pluto return. Okay, this is something that I've shared in my previous webinar. So to start with, Pluto is known as the planet of creation and destruction. It is also a great revealer. So Pluto return is actually a term that is used to indicate a term in Western astrology that is used to indicate a position in the US natal chart. This is when Pluto returns to its original position. Okay, and it takes about 245, 6 or 7 years to complete one cycle of orbit. That's Pluto. And historically, this phenomena is associated with big change. So US was founded in 1776. Okay, and a lot of astrologers, they actually believe that this Pluto return, it marks the end of empire, and it also formed new government structure, and there is no way to go back to how it was before. Okay, so Pluto, it destroys what no longer serves us and creates a new path for us. And this phenomena also coincide with the transition of period 8 to period 9 of the Chinese metaphysics, and that is a 180 years cycle. Okay, so to me, the Pluto return together with the period 8 and period 9 transition, it is just like a reset. So you can imagine you have a phone that you're so familiar with, you've been using it for years, and you just love it. You just know everything that's in the phone. Okay, and now the phone is all congested. Okay, and some functions are just no longer working. So you are told to do a factory reset to restore the default settings. So how do you feel? You have a phone that has so many things in there, all your personal stuff, your photos, your pictures, your messages, and so on. And suddenly now you need to do a default setting. Of course, you would feel like there is a sense of insecurity because you may be afraid that you're losing some things that you have been accumulating for all these years. Okay, but yet, if you don't let that go, if you don't do that reset, your functions are all affected. You will no longer be able to function as efficiently as before. Okay, and some of you may ask, so if Pluto return is only affecting the US natal chart, then why does the world needs to worry about it? So here are some questions to ponder. Okay, do you trade in US dollar or do you do any business in US dollar? Are you in a country that has dependency on the fluctuation of USD? Or are you dependent on any of these apps or technology? And what influence does US have over your country? Okay, some questions to ponder. Right, 2 days ago, yesterday, yeah, 2 days ago, I received a very interesting sharing from a friend, okay, a friend in China. And this sharing is about the Russian and Ukraine war that have just started. Okay, let me mute everyone. and the way the writer, the author puts it is from the perspective of the husband and wife who have got divorced. Okay, while the wife receives alimony from the husband, but she feels that it is not enough. Hence, she collided with another guy who doesn't really commit to that relationship. And her actions have actually angered her ex-husband. And now her ex-husband is stripping her off from all her benefits. So pick a guess. Who is this guy that she's colliding with? Okay, you can start thinking what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Okay. And the next question I want to ask you all, I want to pose here is, are you familiar with these apps? I'm sure TikTok, you all would be familiar, right? What about the others? How would this change the global landscape? I don't know. I don't have an answer. And I'm really interested to find out. And I believe this is something that all of us here needs to anticipate. Okay, it is an interesting change, but I don't have an answer on what is changing, how it's going to change, or how it's going to impact us. So we just need to anticipate and be prepared for any change that comes our way. Because if we don't expect any change, it will become something unexpected, unplanned, and that can throw us into a sense of, you know, the kanjongness, where you feel suddenly in a panic mode. So, but if you have already prepared your mindset that there are things changing, so let's look out for what is changing and how it's affecting, how it's going to affect me, impact me, and your mind will start to think about what can you do with it. Okay, so let's jump on to the planetary movement this month. So in summary, you know, this month, it actually tests your stability and ability to take on hard decisions. So starting with the 3rd of March, which is in a few days' time, we have the Mars and Pluto conjunction. So this brings about some power struggle where you want to win at all costs. So this is where morality can be a question. So this conjunction can also trigger a backfire, okay, a backfire of maybe of our action. So you will need to turn your radar on and be mindful of your actions, because brutal force is not an efficient way to resolve issues. There is a lot that we can learn from how Russian and Ukraine war started. Okay. So between March 6 and to 7, we have the Venus in conjunction with Mars. So this conjunction, it brings this sense where, you know, where pleasure and suffering comes together. It comes into equal play. On one side, you feel that there's pleasure of moving forward, but on another side, you fear the challenges that may come, that you don't know. You fear the unknown. But again, you want to go for it because, you know, if you can cross this border, you will be able to have better things in life, okay, or to make yourself better. So it does, in the way we do things, okay, or how this energy affects our action, we will need to actually pay some attention to our morality as well, and to see how it affects us. Because sometimes it's like humans like to find shortcuts. Okay, so I would say around me there are people who has a lot of dependency on the external energy, external force. They do a lot of prayers and stuff like that, and a lot of activation without understanding what it is. Okay, sometimes when they activated some energy, there is that boost, there is that sense of boost where they see, aha, okay, there's hope. And after a while, it wears off. It wears off within a week. And they are back into the same, I would say, same situation again. Then they will call me and ask me, they need to activate again. So it's like, it is not sustainable. You see, if we work from within, then it is sustainable. And whenever we do a feng shui activation, the energy actually takes effect between 1 to 3 months. All right. And if you don't have that sustaining power, you are just not benefiting or making use of the energy that you have activated. All right. So let's work from within, internally, and build that strength in us. So next comes 13 March, where we have the moon in opposition of Pluto. So this, I would say this position, it can actually create some extreme mood swings where you just suddenly feel this intense and complex feelings, and it can make you feel so confused. And you just don't know what is it, as if you know what it is, and it just doesn't come to you. And it is just like this clump of, the garbage bag that's just thrown on you suddenly. But if you already have clarity and is already taking actions with progress, then this energy may not be felt so intensely. Okay, you may not be affected by it. But if things are not working in your life now, or you are in a confused state, okay, neither here nor there, neither moving forward or backward or stay and so on, this is when you can become upset and susceptible to external manipulation. So you want to stay objective and logical, detached from your emotion. Pay attention to them, be aware and conscious on how things are playing out on you, but remind yourself you need to be logical. Okay. 20th to 21st March, we have the Mercury in conjunction with Jupiter. So this energy, again, it has a play out with pleasure. Okay. This is when, you feel that you're putting in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and you start to get somewhere, and then you find that, hey, I think it's time to enjoy life, okay? And you let things down. You let your system down, or you put down the defense system, and you start looking out to have some pleasure. So, sometimes we also need to fulfill our well-being. So finding a balance and perhaps taking a break or doing something which is different can break the vicious cycle and help you think clearly. But you gotta be conscious that you need to quickly get back to what you're doing so that you don't procrastinate. Okay. So next one would be between 28 to 29 of March. Here we have the Venus in conjunction with Saturn. So this is a time where we may start to struggle, okay, to see actually what is that? What is the problem, okay, that is causing us or leading us to make hasty decision. That means we jump in to make a decision, or we jump in or we react to things. And then later we regret. And sometimes we may burn bridges along the way. Okay. Or this conjunction can also bring back some memories of old wounds. So it's a day where we can use to do some reflection towards the end of March, okay, to pay attention to what are the triggers of our emotions, what are the triggers of our actions, and what is actually going on in our thoughts. Okay, so in summary, the planetary movement is telling us to break the vicious cycle, take the leap of faith to create our future, and let go of things that does not serve us, to avoid being obsolete, and also to enable our spiritual growth. Okay. How many of you actually attended my spiritual growth webinar? Type a 1. And perhaps you want to share your takeaway and your enlightenment. What you got out of that spiritual growth webinar. What were the aha moments? Okay. So between March 12 and 13, okay, my first practical tools application workshop, which is called the Best Year Ever with Butter and Chiman. So this workshop, I'm covering the technicalities and also the practical application of using butter and Chiman with the visiting energy to get the best out of the year, to help you prepare ahead. As April next month, it will bring us through another spiritual roller coaster. Okay, so let's look at the animal signs. So in the last webinar, I didn't do animal signs. This webinar, Let's look at the animal signs. So if you have tiger in your chart, this is going to be a busy month for you with lots of things to sort out. So you will need to focus on things that help you become better, to be more efficient. Okay. This one may come with some distractions. So you need to sort it out first. So if you have pig in your chart, when you think that you know it all, this is when you don't know enough. So you need to learn to look beyond the obvious and discover what you don't know. You need to let go of the idea of being smart in order to grow. So if you have snake in your chart, challenge your actions as you may be sabotaging yourself. Okay, so be strategic and plan ahead. If you have monkey in your chart, how have you enjoyed February? It must have been very exciting, right? Things could have driven you mad at some point. So you need to remind yourself to stay calm and assess your options, because this month you do have options, but you need to focus on things that you can control. You may need to let go of some things to move ahead and for you to stay focused. So in other words, you may feel that you have a lot of things on your plate. You need to prioritize, and some of the things you need to push it away. So in other words, it's okay to learn to say no. You got to say no, but you need to say it diplomatically. So manage your emotions. So next, if you have horse in your barter chart, you will need to think more than twice before you spend, because you may end up buying things that you may regret later. So before you make an impulsive buy, ask yourself, why do you need it? Okay, can you wait later? Why do you need to buy it now? Okay, this will help you to reason things out a bit, okay, to really assess whether do you need to spend on that certain item. If you have rooster in your chart, March, you will need to talk less and do more. You need to make sure that you know what is required, okay, and listen attentively. As if you're focused on just responding to other people, then you are missing out on the context, which can lead to poor judgment. Okay, this is how our mind works. Sometimes when we hear things from other people, the first thing our mind do is not to actually understand the context of behind the words and understand what the other person is trying to say or the message he or she is trying to tell you. But the moment we hear words coming out, our mind starts to structure how to answer, how to answer, how to answer. So when your mind is busy constructing an answer or respond to what you hear, you're actually missing out the context. You're just hearing words, and some words can actually trigger your emotion and reaction in a way you don't intend to. Okay, so this one, if you have rooster, train yourself to listen attentively. Listen first, okay, and then respond later. You don't need to respond straight away. Okay, and if you take time to really process and digest the message, then you respond, it may make you look wiser. Next is the dog. If you have a dog in your chart, March, you need to pay attention to your urge for power. So don't let power cloud your decision. Reputation is earned, it is not given. So you need to be able to show results to earn that reputation. If you have red in your chart, you may be tempted to find shortcuts, okay, and make decisions just based on general assumptions. And sometimes you may even end up making statements based on your own assumption, and this can affect your reputation. So you need to understand what you're getting into first, okay, and don't leave it to others to tell you, okay, what you should be paying attention to, what you should find out, and so on. So you need to be responsible for your actions. So if you have dragon in your chart, this is going to be rather interesting because you'll see a lot of things happening. Okay, you will see a lot of options, possibilities, and just ways, possible ways everywhere. And this can actually drive you to a sense of confusion. So if you are unsure, clarify, get into the details to avoid disappointment, as you have a tendency to leave things to assumption. That means at the moment someone shares an idea, you would already assume that you know what it is. So don't assume. Clarify, get into the details to make sure that you understand. Okay. For good in your chart, you need to learn to connect the dots and be the bridge between the ideas of other people with the market needs, with trend. Actually, how do you make an idea work? So this month, figure out how to make things work. With rabbit in your chart, you need to explore ideas because there's many options ahead for you, but you need to decide on one and go with it and focus on what you can learn through the journey of making your decision right. So you're very much the Alice this month. Okay. For the Ox, 2021, you were the Grand Duke, and after a year of stress, now you're feeling a bit more relaxed, kind of enjoying life because the pressure has been lifted. And this can actually lead to procrastination. So you need to make sure that you don't go into hibernation. Taking a break from a vicious cycle may be good, but you need to tell yourself, you just need to rejuvenate as there's a lot of things ahead for you to do. Okay. Next, let's look at the Chiman perspective. So we have experienced a floodgate in February. And did you all have any aha moments? Because February, we do have the stamps and stars in Fan Yin position, and that can bring a bit of confusion, turmoil, and things like that. But in March, we actually have the doors in Fu Yin position, while the stars and doors, the relational positions are pretty interesting. And it does indicate somewhat of a disposition. But if your intention is right, with the awareness, with your action and thoughts aligned, then things will work out because you are conscious of what's going on. Okay, and you know what you need to focus on and what are the things you need to filter out. So this month lies in your power to make things work. Okay. And I see a question. So it's asking me like, what do I mean by stars and doors position being interesting? Okay. So let's take, for example, let me pull up my pen. And okay, let's look at the south over here. The star is assistant star. Okay, so the assistant star, it actually brings about a learning environment. So it gives you an environment that there is a lot of things for you to learn. But in terms of the door is a scenery door, which means everything is perfect. So what is there to learn? Right? So this is why things becomes interesting. Okay, where the environment presents something to you, but on the other hand, it's like you don't see any gap or any need for action. Okay, so let's get into each Destiny Palace. I hope that answered the question, right? So this month, the theme that I've picked is called The 8 Habits by Stephen Covey. So if you have not read the book, you may want to pick up this book. Okay, it's a good read, or you can Google the synopsis, or there are many people who did a review and they summarized the whole book into very fast read, okay, point by point. Okay, let's start with the South. So in the south, we have the tortoise, or at this moment is a phoenix, with the assistant star in scenery door. So this does indicate a tension between faith and hope, okay? And it can lead to some self-doubt. So when you have that self-doubt, reach out and ask for help and directions. So seek advice and look out for mentors who are wiser than you, who can tell you what you don't see at this moment. So this is a month for you to cultivate your personal growth. And we must first set our hearts right. So don't judge and support the people you work with around you. So from this 8 Habits book by Stephen Covey, you want to pick up the point on synergize. Okay, that will give you the synopsis of what are the things that you will need to pick up. Okay, the skills that you need to pick up, or the skills that you need to train. So next we go on to Southeast. So Southeast, we have the 9th Earth with the Destructor Star in Delusion Door. So here is where speculation will not give you the outcome that you want. So you need to take things a step at a time. Okay, take small steps that will lead to a bigger outcome. You want to get into the details of your plan. You need an executable plan, not just concept or idea, as you need to know what exactly you need to do and when. So this is a month where you will gain confidence and clarity when you are consistent in the things that you do with commitment. Okay, so from the book, the 8 Habits book, you want to pick up on the point that says begin with an end in mind. Okay, it will give you that explanation on what are the things you need to prepare. Okay, then next one in the East. So in the East, we have 9 Heaven with Ambassador in the harm door, and this can bring a bit of confusion and a lack of clarity. So you also may be sending misleading messages, and this leads to misunderstanding. So you want to be clear on your instructions and messages, especially if you are working in an environment where teamwork, okay, it's the essence of success. So plan for the worst and work for the best. In other words, it's like assess your risk. You know what is the worst that can happen, but you want to plan your action to get the best out of things, but prepare for unexpected events that may pop up. Are you all still seeing my slides? Okay, I guess you are. Right. So this month for East, yeah, you need to be mindful with your words. So you need to be considerate that everyone has unique capability. Okay, and everyone has different speed when it comes to learning or picking up new things. All right. So in terms of the 8 Habits, you can read the section that says find your voice. So moving on to the Northeast. So in Northeast, we have Chief with Brass Star in Life Door. So this is where rigidity can actually block your vision. Okay, you need to take responsibility for your actions, be methodical, and keep going, because success doesn't come free. So this is a month where you need to garner the greatness from within, the strength from within to rise from adversity. So in terms from the 8 Habits, you need to look at be proactive. Okay, let's move on to the North. So North, we have the Snake with Heart Star in a rest door, and it comes with an envoy. So this is where solutions comes easy to you, but you need to be aware of the shiny object syndrome. Okay, be aware of distraction. You just need to decide and make your decision work. Pick one thing. Don't let indecisiveness push you down or leads you to procrastination. Just make a decision, go for it, learn along the way, and make things work out for you. If you don't know it now, learn how to do it. Okay, if you had If you hit a hurdle along the way, learn to overcome it. All right. So this month, letting go is your way to success. In other words, is what you have learned before. When you apply it, it may not work. So don't question the validity and the accuracy of what you have learned. Okay, let go, learn new things, and keep learning. And this is where you will gain your success. Just remember, solutions comes easy to you. You just need to know where is your direction and be ready to take it. All right. So for this month relating to the 8 habits, you can refer to the section called Think Win-Win, mutual agreement. Okay. So when we say mutual agreement, it actually means that you need to give up something in order to get something else. You can have both. So act decisively. Okay. Next thing would be the Northwest. So Northwest, we have the moon with pillar star and open door. You can get what you want, okay? Or you have what you need to succeed. If only you have that clarity and focus on your goal. So first you need to know what is your goal, because you need to create the experience that you want, and you will find the luck all around you, because luck is an experience of life. Okay, it is the meaning that we give to our experience that turns into your definition of bad and good. Okay, so this month you want to act decisively and keep your integrity. Okay, and also keep moving forward, right? But you need to learn how to prioritize your things. Like focus is your key. So from the 8 habit, you can refer to the section that says put first things first. Okay, so next we have the West. So in the West, we have the harmony with brain star in fear door. So you may feel that you seem to have the right environment, but yet you feel empty. You seem to have it, and yet at the same time, you don't have it. So it's a struggle between obsession and growth. No obsession where you try to hold on to things, and growth only comes when you let go and move forward. Okay, so this one can actually push you round and round, just like knocking your head against the same spot on the wall, trying to find a way out. Perhaps step away from the wall and try to look sideways. The exit may just be there. So step away from the situation and look at the big picture. That's where you will find a solution. Okay. So this month, you want to take some time to listen to others, talk things over, and think things over carefully. Okay. So from the 8 habit, look at the section that says seek first to understand, then to be understood. Okay, the last palace is Southwest. So Southwest, we have the tiger of hope for this year, the moment the current moment of the year. Okay, we have the hope. So it is with hero star in death door. This one, you may feel that you may be stuck in a limbo where things seems to be going smoothly, but then a surprise crop up and throw you off course. So this could be due to careless mistakes, which can result in a blame mentality. So be honest with yourself and set realistic expectation. Be alert so that you can spot what's changing and adapt accordingly. Okay? Don't wait for the right moment. You gotta act now, because success comes when the right action is taken without expecting an immediate reward. Okay, so from the 8 habit book, you can read up the section on sharpen the sword. Let's look at some dates. So 6 March. 6 March is a day that coincides with Venus and Mars conjunction. Okay, so this is where you will feel the pleasure at the same time you feel the suffering at the same, that comes together. Okay, So from the Bazi perspective, the earth horse is a spiritual pillar, and this spiritual pillar, it is associated, okay, with vision. So you want to train your focus and concentration. All right. Then we see the blue earth and the gray water, it actually combines and it creates fire. And this refers to wisdom. But at the same time, the wu is also countering the ren, which means taking control. Okay. And internally, we have the horse that's harming the rabbit. So you need to ask yourself, what are you willing to exchange, okay, in order to get something? So keep your options open. All right. So remember, this is a day where you want to take control. Okay, leverage on your wisdom, on your past experience, be logical, reason things out, and make that decision, okay, to move forward, right? So from achievement perspective, this is a Fan Yin chart. So where the stand, door, stars are all in Fan Yin, so which indicates rapid changes, which means you need to be alert. Okay. So for the month, okay, so for the month, we have a earthquake, okay, in, where is that earthquake? Earthquake in the southeast. Here you can see the earthquake in the southeast, right? And it actually means it's a good time for you to make preparation. So on the day, in the southeast also, we have sun prosperity. And this formation actually helps you to fulfill aspiration, for you to find opportunity within chaos. And especially between the hour 0 or midnight 12 to 12:59 a.m., we have the nobility deception formation in the southeast. And this foster bonding with others and to win trust. Okay, then you might ask, midnight, how to bond with other people? This is where you bond with yourself. Okay, get that support in yourself. So you can actually back southeast. Seek clarity from within. That means tap into yourself and ask yourself, what kind of support you need? Okay, list out all the support that you need to help you to move forward. And also identify around you who can give you that kind of support. All right. So when we identify people who can support us, it is not to find people who have a certain nobleman star in their chart. We need to be logical on what kind of support we need, and whether that person who has the nobleman star, who have our nobleman star in their chart, do they have the experience and relevant skill to help us? Okay, so we need to be logical in this sense, right? Because the universe doesn't discriminate. Okay, it doesn't filter things out. So we need to do that logical part ourselves. So throughout this day on 6 March, you want to be alert and look out for people whom you can connect with, okay, who can be at your aid. You need to assess the options. So as this day is in Fan Yin nature, so things may not appear as what it seems. So you will need to have this mindset to say, it's okay if things doesn't work out. Maybe you see this person and you just have this belief that, this person can actually give me that support and so on, right? But as you start talking to the person, you'll find that, actually, maybe I've got it wrong. I didn't understand the person enough to understand what the person can offer. Okay, you also need to be ready to do an exchange for what you need. Okay, maybe the person that you approach cannot support you entirely for everything that you want to do or you want to achieve. But I believe if that person can caught your attention, there is something that the person can offer to you. Remember, small steps. Okay, take that small steps, right? So the next date is 9th of March. So 9th of March, this is again a fine day in stem, stars, and the doors. And from the Bazi perspective, we can see the rooster and rabbit has a clash. So this is where you need to pay attention to detail. Don't jump into conclusion. Okay, because the rooster and rabbit, it's called a betrayal clash. And a lot of times we felt betrayed because we just didn't really assess the detail. We are not clear, and we start jumping to conclusion with a different expectation, with our own assumption. So when things doesn't work out as how we have expected it, that's when we start to feel that we have been betrayed. Okay, so pay attention to detail, right? You can use this day to assess your options, collect the necessary data, information, and understand the situation. And what can you bring to the table with all this information that you've collected? Okay. So on this day, in the northeast, we have the ghost fake formation for the entire day. Okay, and then in the southwest, we have the being noble for the whole day. Okay, so when you're speaking to people to get information or to negotiate, or perhaps to reposition yourself to bounce idea and explore options, you can back northeast. You can back southwest. Okay, that is to use the being noble formation. So if you are in a position where you want to observe what's going on, or you want to gain that grounding or stability, then back northeast, that is, we utilize the ghost fake formation. Between the hours of 11 to 11:59 p.m., in these two positions, okay, southwest and northeast, we see in northeast, we have the FBFIC, which is a flying bird formation. And throughout the day, with all this information that you have collected or what you have observed, okay, it's time for you to filter things out and discover options, how you can make things work. Okay, you can back southwest to make this decision, to discover, to dissect, digest, filter what happened in the day, what you have observed, what are the information that you get, who are these people whom you have met, and how can they help you? How can they help you to achieve what you want? Or at least what outcome you want to achieve? Then make a decision on which option you want to go with. Okay, then in the northeast, we have this, oh gosh, I've mixed things up. Southwest, okay, northeast is the Ding Noble. Yeah, right, southwest is flying bird, northeast is Ding Noble, all right? So with Ding Noble, you can back northeast to do your planning and strategy. So this is where you set your expectation, plan your action with your milestones, okay? The next day, which is the 18th of March. So 18th of March is again another Fan Yin energy. So from the Bazi perspective, we have this horse and rabbit hunt. So this is a day where again, it's a day for you to exchange ideas. Okay, what are you willing to exchange to get what you want? So let's look at the energy. Let me open up everything so that I don't get confused. Okay. We have the east. All right. Phil, good spot. It is March. So thanks for pointing out here. It is supposed to read March. Okay, not fact. Not fact. It is March. Thanks for calling that out, Phil. I didn't even notice that. Oh, my bad. Okay, let's get back to this day, 18th of March. So 18th of March, in the west sector, we have a cloud dune for whole day. So cloud dune, we can use this to remove bad habits. We can use it for self-transformation. So in other words, it's like, if we need to make a decision to let go of some bad habits, sometimes, yeah, what is stopping us from moving forward is we are clinging on to bad habits. Okay, or let's not say bad habits, let's put it as habits that is holding us back. So you can actually use this day back west to find out what are the habits that is not serving you, that you'll be better to do without them. Okay. Then in the north, for the whole day, we have Jade Maiden, and Jade Maiden is the power of attraction. And this attraction is through connections. So since it is in a delusion door, so this Jade Maiden, it's very effective when you want to acquire knowledge, okay, for character or personality development. Okay. So between the hours of 7 to 8:59 p.m. in the west, we have Flying Bird. So make that decision to change and have faith that things will work out for you. Okay, you may not know what you need to do or how you're going to do certain things. Okay, but have faith that you will learn. Have faith that things will work out for you once you make that decision. So in the north, during this hour, we have the cloud dune, which is for self-transformation, and together with the nobility deception. So you can actually plan and decide on how you're going to gain trust from people. But the first thing is you need to trust yourself. So learn to trust yourself. Okay. Then the next date is 19th of March. So 19th of March, if you look at the Bazi chart, it is a very peaceful environment. And in addition, with the same metal, Hui water and the Ren water, these three heavenly signs together, it actually forms this thing which we call the three nobles. Okay, or to be specific, it is the three human noble. And this three human noble, it actually brings out the talent. So reach out to seek help and support from people, okay, to build your talent. And to start with, you need to have something to exchange in return. That means something to offer to your nobleman to exchange for their support and help. Okay. So on this day, in the northeast, for the whole day, we have the Ding Noble. Okay, Ding Noble is very good. It's a good formation. Sorry, it's a formation that fosters connection with people and with people of higher status to promote your growth, right? And then in the northwest, we have the Yi Noble. So when we see noble formations, it does have a relation to seeking mentor, seeking help, seeking support. So Ding Noble is getting connection for support, while Yi Noble is discovering your mentor, finding your mentor, okay, because it's for learning and discovery. So between the hours of 9 to 10:59 a.m., which is morning, so in the northeast, the Ding Noble is joined by the three nobles. So three nobles, it's like, you know, when you have make three wishes and the wishes come true. So it brings this kind of energy. So between this hour 9 to 10:59 a.m., if you know that this person whom you want to ask for help, you can back northeast, talk to this person and ask for that help that you needed. Okay. So during this hour in the northwest is actually, during this hour in northwest, it is there's a jade hole in there. Okay. So if you want to ask for guidance and to seek mentor, or if you want to discuss what are your talents, potential, and what are your development needs is like, and what kind of support you need, the kind of guidance that you need, okay, you can back northwest when you're talking to your the mentor or this person whom you see or you look up to as your mentor and start discussing your development needs, okay? What are the talents, the potential that this person sees in you, and start to have that discussion for personal growth, okay? Or let's say you know that there are certain things that you need to develop, but you don't have someone to talk to at this moment. You don't know who can help you. So you can actually go to the northwest sector, wherever you are, being it in your office or in your house, back northwest, okay, and have this discussion with yourself. So that means you are talking to yourself and discover is like, what are your talents, your potential? Maybe you want to start writing and what are the things you want to achieve, and then start to assess what are the gaps, your skill gaps. Then you will know what kind of support that you will need, okay? And also what kind of skills that you will need to pick up. And from there, you will have a better idea and clarity on who around you that you already know who can help you, right? So next, moving on to 21st of March. So on this day, we see here there is rooster and rabbit clash. So rooster and rabbit clash is what we call a betrayal clash. So it actually means that on this day, you need to pay attention to detail. Just don't jump to conclusion. Because a lot of time we feel betrayed is because things doesn't turn out in the way we expect. Okay, but to start with, did we clarify the expectation? If we didn't clarify the expectation, then perhaps the fault lies in us. Okay, because we were unclear and we have assumed things in a certain way, and therefore we have formulated an expectation which was not discussed or agreed upfront. Okay, and that leads to betrayal, right? So on this day, in the northeast, we have the deity Dune the whole day. So deity Dune is a formation that I like to use for life transformation in terms of training the mind. You all heard of NLP, right? So if you know NLP, you can actually leverage on the deity Dune formation to, I would say, turbo boost it. Okay, it is more effective. You can find that things happen very fast. All right. Then in the southwest, we have ghost fake. So ghost fake, can use it to stop bad intention. Ghost fake is a grounding energy. Although the name actually sounds a bit spiritual, mystical, but the energy actually grounds you and keeps you stable. So it is a good formation to use to stop bad intention. Sometimes you see, when we want to do well, okay, or when we want to do good on something, then you have this intention which kind of conflict with our action. For example, sometimes you want to do charity, okay? You want to donate a sum of money. And you may think that by donating that sum of money, it is going to bring you good karma and things like that. And I would say I won't contest against that, because it does, if it is aligned with the intention. Okay, that means your intention is you want to do good for other people and you hope better, okay, or the best things or happiness for the person or for the organization that you're donating to. So when you have that intention with your action of that charity, it is aligned. So with that, it does give you, it does bring that happiness and good energy and positive vibes to you. But the moment where you think, where your intention of donating is just because you want to accumulate your karmic merits, okay, and you don't think about, and you're not focusing on how your piece of donation is going to make the life better for the recipient, that's when your intention is not aligned with your action. Okay, so if you discover that sometimes you have this kind of a conflict in yourself, on 21st of March, you may want to make use of this post-wake formation by backing southwest, okay, to pull out all these moments so that you can stop the intention. Okay. So the hour between 5 to 6:59 p.m. in Northeast, the deity Dun is joined by the Ding Noble. So this is where, if you have already have that mind, okay, you have, I would say, configure or program your mind into certain thoughts, then to have a bit more clarity, you can connect with people to help you to speed things up. Perhaps there could be some skills, okay, that you need to pick up. So during this hour, 5 to 6:59 p.m., backing Northeast, that's when open your mouth and ask for that help. Okay. Then in the Southwest, during the same time period, we have the cloud Dun, and cloud Dun is good for removing bad habits. So you feel that sometimes you have this conflicting intention with action. Okay, during this hour, 5 to 6:59 p.m., back Southwest. Okay, and consciously tell yourself that you are going to remove all these habits that is not serving you. Okay, and replace it with good habits. The trick or the tip to remove bad habits is to replace it with good habits. So let's move on to the flying stars. Okay. So from the flying stars perspective for in March, it is not a month for us to take things literally, because we need to mitigate the risk of misinformation and misdirection. So let's start with star 1. So star 1 flies into the center, and this is where we have the nobleman star meeting with the calamity star 5. So this is where a water star is meeting up with an earth star. So if you are using this area for food preparation, then you need to pay attention to hygiene, okay? Because infection, indigestion, food poisoning, it's prominent when we have star 1 and star 5 meeting together. So if your kitchen or your dining room is in the center of your house, then pay a bit more attention to hygiene. Okay. Next thing is the star 2. So star 2 flies into Northwest. And here we have the inner star meeting the authority star. So the positive side of this sector in this combination is like, if you are a team leader or you are in a team leader position at work, then you can use this sector to work on your team strategies or to resolve team conflicts, okay, and also to foster teamwork. So in the office, if you're in the office, whenever you have a team meeting, just bring them to the Northwest sector and have that discussion, okay, because this combination, it actually fosters teamwork, but it starts from the team leader. Okay, the team leader needs to do the work, right? On the negative side, this sector can bring some extremities of behavior, okay, by sweeping, and you may need to manage consciously. So there could be a tension between superiority and inferiority, okay? But if you're conscious about it, then you can manage that, right? Next one, star 3. So star 3 flies into the west, and this is where we have the argument star meeting the burglary star. So it turns this into a sparring corner, which is actually good for brainstorming if you use it consciously. So you will need to manage your emotions and be objective on what you're arguing about, okay, as it can bring on some injuries when emotions get out of hand. You just need to be conscious about it. So it is not bad. So in fact, in the west sector over here, you can see this is actually a combination. It's a combination of sum of 10, which means if you use a sector consciously, efficiently for brainstorming, and you are aware of all the emotions and you are in control, you can actually get a lot of fruitful outcome from it. Okay. So next we have star 4. Star 4 actually flies into the northeast. And here we have the academic star meeting up with the wealth star. So you can use this sector to learn the skill to generate wealth. Okay, so in March, the northeast sector is, I would say, specifically beneficial if you are learning something to generate wealth. So star 5 flies into the south in March. And here we have the calamity star, which is meeting up with the prospect star. And south is a fire sector. Okay, star 9 is also a fire sector. With star 5, Earth flying into fire sector, the star 5, the calamity star is going to be very strong. Okay, so I would say where possible, avoid using the south sector. And also traditionally, let me share this with you. This is traditionally, yeah. Traditionally, when we see this combination of 5 and 9, and if the bedroom is resided in this sector, it does indicate increased libido and also sexual desire. Okay, so if your bedroom is in the south sector, then this one I would say it's not too bad after all. Okay, depending on what you want to do with it. But generally, I would recommend avoid this sector because this energy can actually trigger some negative addiction. Okay, so if you want to make babies, the south sector this month would be very good because the energy promotes that environment and that urge for you. Okay, star 6 in March flies into the north. So here we have the authority star that's meeting up with the nobleman star. And here is a metal star meeting a water star in a water sector. So there is a lot to do, but it can also build your mental strength to take on stress and learn to prioritize your tasks. Okay. And in turn, this can promote your career advancement and also boost promotion luck. Okay. Southwest, we have star 7 meeting up with star 2. So the burglary star is meeting up with the illness star. It is a contradictory sector as metal star meets with the earth star in the earth sector. So earth produces metal, right? But at the same time, it can, when you have too much earth that is producing the same thing, it does cause some contradiction. Okay, and this is star 7. So star 7 is aggressive in nature. So when you have too many things that is producing it, it is like, what is that word? What is that word? It is just stirring up the commotion. Okay, so if your main door is situated in the southwest, then you need to pay attention to the security. Okay, or if you're in a landed property, so just ensure any possible entries in this sector is properly locked. Okay, but on a positive note, if you are up for the game, the energy in this sector, it can actually help you raise your competitive nature. So it is not a sector to do your selling, but it is a sector to plan for your strategy. So star 8 flies into the east, and this is where wealth star meeting with the argument star. So it can harbor a sense of selfishness. Okay, however, if you are conscious, you can turn it into an objective. So sometimes it is okay to be selfish for the right reason. Okay, so this sector is especially beneficial for those with tortoise in your destiny palace, or those who have a well-developed indirect wealth. Okay, So use this sector back your tortoise direction. If you don't have tortoise in your chart, you can also alternatively use red phoenix. So when I say having tortoise or red phoenix in your destiny palace, it doesn't mean that you need to have the east as your destiny palace. Okay, your destiny palace can be anywhere in all the sectors. But if your destiny palace has tortoise, that means your guardian destiny is tortoise or red phoenix. The east sector in March has that additional benefit for you. Okay, because of your ability to tap in, to see opportunity. Right? The last one, star 9, it flies into the southeast. So here we have the prospect star meeting with academic star. So star 4 is also regarded as a peach blossom star. This is the sector to use for your selling activities and to gain trust. So southwest is a sector for you to plan your selling strategy, and southeast is where you want to use to do your selling. Okay. So in May, I'm conducting a 2-day practical tool application workshop called Chasing the Stars in 2022 with 8 mentions. So in summary, this is like how to function your life. Okay. And it is just in time for you to learn the technique and tips, okay, to write on the stars that's coming up from May onwards. All right. And that would be the time where we will need more external energy. So in summary, this is a month where you need to make up your mind and make the decisions work for you. So it is not about making the right decision, but making the decision right. Okay. Excuse me. And to decide, okay, you need to define the problem. What is the problem that you're facing? Okay, establish the criteria. Okay, what is the criteria that's acceptable to you? Consider what are the alternatives or what are the options that you have, and identify the best option. Then develop an action plan and also evaluate and monitor results. Because a lot of time we do, but we forget to track our progress and result. That is when we don't know whether are we progressing or regressing. Okay, so March can actually bring many options to the table if we have clarity on what we want and if we are conscious to look out for it. Because sometimes we want to look for options, but we are not conscious enough to look for it. So we don't see it when it comes. Okay, procrastination leads to stagnation. So you want to evaluate your options and establish your priorities. Because when you try to have everything, you may end up with nothing. So sometimes success is not about making right decision. It is more about making some decision and make it work for us. When we are clear and decided and committed to make things work, we will find our path. Then we will realize things start to work for us. Okay. So in August, third quarter of this year, I'm conducting this workshop called Tuning of the 10 Gods. So this is utilizing the 10 gods that you have in your barter profile to create your niche. So in summary, I have the Spiritual Path webinars, which is a 1-day class. And then I have the 2-day tools application workshop. So if you are interested, reach out to me. Then I can guide you how to sign up. Or if you want to find out more, you can talk to me as well. So I do have this special offer before, if you sign up before 10th of March, you can take all 3 of my 2 days workshop for USD 500. If not, one is at USD 197. Okay, so there's a few more days to enjoy this offer, right? So you can also check out my services, okay, from my Facebook page. And I want to bring your attention to this consultation, which is called the Spiritual Transformation Consult. So this is a 4 hours consultation that targets spiritual alignment and spiritual growth from your Bazi and your human destiny to help you discover your purpose, your life path, and also to clear your blockages. So if you want to achieve your spiritual alignment, you want to achieve that spiritual alignment stage, and also to propel your spiritual growth, and you don't have the time to learn all the technicalities on how to read or interpret the chart, and so on and so forth, you may want to consider this consult. Okay, so support me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Hey, it's free. Subscribe, all right? So this month, March, you may want to pay attention to the life transformation playlist as I'm releasing videos on mindset, and I call it the wealth prophecy. It's about abundance mindset and how we can train ourselves to get to this stage, and also how you can identify from your Bazi to find that solution. And if you miss any of my monthly thriving series, you can actually watch the replay of the webinars on my YouTube. Okay, just need to go to the monthly thriving webinars playlist. All right. And we have come to the end of the webinar. So opening up for question. The best way to create your future is to create it. The best way to predict your future is to create it. So for March, the chit chat session is going to be next week, next Saturday, the first Saturday of the month at 10:30 p.m. GMT +8. And I have a topic here that we can discuss, death and emptiness. So I do have some queries on death and emptiness, the concerns and so on. So let's talk about it.